Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga etc. and I'm here today to bring you the review from Build King Manga Chapter 13. And now right off the bat, we got something that I was not expecting at all. Previously I mentioned that how I felt like they just brushed aside 2 by 4 because as we know, Ton Oz Daddy Bats, do you know anything about this house piece? And it's like, oh my god, 2 by 4, you need to stay away from this guy. And then it was basically left off at that, and then we headed towards the exam arc. So I thought, okay, I didn't think we'd never see 2 by 4 again, but I just assumed it'd come either after this arc or just further down the line. I did not expect him to be mentioned within this chapter, and what we are told about him within this chapter was like, oh my gosh, OMG. Really? But it does bring up one question that I want to talk about. So, but first things first, we find out he's the most wanted building in the world. I was like, huh? Okay. Not gonna lie, when I was reading, I was like, what? Put the iPad down for a second. He's the most wanted building in the world? Excuse me? That was my initial impression. Picked up the iPad again now, and then I saw on the side, it's even, no, wait, hold. It's even said, let me get the exact words because said to have once smashed an entire Build King to pieces. Now that basically from what that said, it sounds like a rumor. It was once said that he was able to smash a Build King. That sounds like a rumor that was spread about. But when you think about it for a second, the Build Kings are said to be like these indestructible sites of architecture. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, so for the fact that someone can come along and destroy a Build King, don't that make you a Build King, so to say, or a Build Master? But because we're talking about a house piece, I would say a Build King. So I don't know. That one sounds a bit shaky to me. I personally don't think that 2 by 4 destroyed a Build King, but he's definitely someone to be feared, someone to be wary of finding out he's the most wanted building in the world. And now just by that statement alone has got me more interested in 2 by 4 because like what exactly did he do to become the most wanted? When we found out, when Daddy Bats was like, oh, you need to stay away from this guy, and I was like, alright, fair enough. Like we have that, you get that lots in shonen when someone is a dangerous character. Oh, you need to stay away from them. Alright, but now we've got like the groundwork for reasonings why we need to stay away from 2 by 4, and that just makes him more interesting as a character. So this information is coming to us via someone telling a member of someone who used to be part of Shovel's little organization here, which I still don't know where they fit into the power structure of things, a former member of that organization, and he's basically saying like, yo, because he knows about the relationship, so to say, between Ton and 2 by 4, he's like, yo, I need to go check out Ton. And now it's probably Ton and Renga, but I'm more lenient towards just Ton, is because they mentioned his whole being revived, and that was Ton. So I think they're gonna pay more interest in Ton, but regardless of that, they're en route to the exam. I was gonna say Hunter's exam. Wrong series. They're en route to the exam, so they know about Ton and Rengar. They know where they currently reside, and they're on the way to there. So I do believe that that was a very nice start to the chapter. I was not expecting that at all. So we go flip back to the exam, and like I said previously in my last review for last week, round 1 is way too easy. I think they should have spent more emphasis on it, making it look harder, but they didn't. And it's essentially the 9 people that we see clear it within last chapter, the only ones that got through, fair enough. So after that was said and done, after the 10 minutes was up, Smith says, all right, cool, we're moving on to round 2. But before we get to the location, because they move location, before we get to the location of the second round, Ton and Smith have a little conversation, and this is where we find out that the reason why Ton's buildings suck up until now is because his vigor is too strong. And now, in finding this out, it just made me feel like, oh, and it's not a bad thing, it's just like an oh, because I thought it was something that would have followed through at least until halfway through the series, to the time skip if we are to get a time skip. Loads of shows have time skips nowadays, so to the time skip, so to say. But Smith tells us that because your vigor is too strong, your buildings have been falling apart. I was the same way until I learned how to control it, blah 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 blah. It's just basically through this conversation, it just basically tells you why Ton's buildings have been failing and what he needs to work on to improve them, and essentially that he will get better at doing buildings. He may not ever be as good as a Renga, but he will get better at it because he has to. He doesn't have to, but he will learn how to control his vigor better as things go on. So after that, as they're moving on to round two, it's just a little bit of quirky moments with the other characters, 3 of them, of the other characters who have got passed through for the exam. So we've got the scaredy cat guy, the guy in the mask, and just the only interesting thing to come out of that really is just to find out that he came from a country where the air is unbreathable. That's why he was wearing the mask. Fair enough. And then after that, we find the guy who likes to swear a lot coming up to another guy who is from a prestigious clan, the Eliwooda clan, and we find out that the guy from the Eliwooda clan, he don't care about his clan, but he only cares about himself. And you have that whole moment where he was like, shouldn't have been the other way around. Don't insult me, but don't take. You can insult me, but don't take it out of my clan, kind of thing. Vibe. He's on the opposite route of that, and yeah, we had that. Why he hates his clan, I don't really care at this moment in time, but I'm sure we will find out as things go along. We'll also probably find out why this clan is so prestigious as things go along as well. So we find out that the next exam is to build a bridge. And after finding out that why Ton's buildings have failed up until now, we will probably either see Ton fail this exam. That's not happening. I don't think that will happen at all. Would be very surprised if that happened. But we will see the starting point of Ton learning how to control his vigor. He shouldn't master it. I think it'd be better storytelling for him to just scrape the pass for this exam. But I think Renga will walk this one as well. Definitely think Renga will walk this one as well. And that's everything I've got to say about this chapter. I do believe it deserves a 4-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.